President, as you know, last Tuesday, the annual inflation rate came in at 8.3%. The stock market nosedived. People are shocked by their grocery bills. What can you do better and faster?
Well, first of all, let's put this in perspective. Inflation rate month to month was just an inch, hardly at all.
You're not arguing that 8.3 is good news.
No, I'm not saying it is good news, but it was 8.2 or 8.2 before. I mean, it's not, maybe I can make it sound like all of a sudden, my God, it went to 8.2%. It's
the highest inflation rate, Mr. President, in 40 years.
I got that, but guess what we are? We're in a position where for the last several months, it hasn't spiked. It has just barely, it's been basically even. Look, this is a process. This is a process.
Is the economy going to get worse before it gets better?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so you saw actually more pushback than I've ever seen from the media there. It wasn't very much at all, but at least he's saying, come on, man, like throw me a bone here. It's obviously extremely high inflation. Biden says, no, the month over month has barely ticked up. What say you?
So you're right. I'll give Scott Pelley some credit. He did at least push back some, which is more than the White House press briefing typically does. But, Biden's argument is bizarre. He says, well, it's 8.3, but it didn't get any worse. I mean, I'm reminded of an analogy like you're badly wounded and you're bleeding out a pint an hour. And his defense is, well, it didn't increase. It didn't go up to 2 pints an hour. Like, you're
right.
still bleeding to death. Like 8.3% annualized inflation means that families across this country are badly hurting, and it is continuing to be. It's the highest inflation rate in 40 years, and Biden has no solution for it. But it's worse than having no solution for it. He doesn't understand what caused it. There's only one thing that causes inflation. That's government spending too much money, spending money it doesn't have, borrowing money it doesn't have, and printing money it doesn't have. Biden's solution is spend more money they don't have, borrow more money they don't have, and print more money they don't have. That will produce more inflation. And Biden's answer is, well, think how much worse it could be.
Think how much worse it could be month over month. And I think I don't measure inflation month over month. Nobody measures inflation month over month. We measure it year over year. And the fact is that goods cost 8.5% more in September of this year than they did in September of last year. And so even that shift of, well, let's look at the month-to-month metric, I think who cares about that metric? If it's jumped this much in a year, that's really, really bad.
Well, and look, even that figure understates it in terms of what Americans are actually feeling. You take gasoline. Gasoline is still double what it was when Biden was elected. That ain't 8%. That's double. That is hurting people. A $100 gas bill is now not unusual to fill up your truck. People are seeing $150 gas bills, particularly if you're unfortunate enough to live on the West Coast. You look at food bills that have skyrocketed. You look at, electricity. I mean, my electricity bill, it's a lot more than 8% what it was last year. I think a lot of the bills consumers are paying haven't just gone up a little bit. They've gone up a ton, and people are hurting.